Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina and Clovis, special guests. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
All right. Hello, everybody. Come on in the room. I know y'all have been waiting for this show tonight. Listen, I'm so excited about this new show we have here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. And listen, it's going to be so much fun. Everybody has been talking about the dating life. So I said, why not get together a panel of ladies? We invited some guys. They were busy. They're going to be on our next show because this is not going to be the only show. We're going to have several future shows about this dating. Does size matter? So you guys keep tuned in, all right? We got some great news also to announce here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. The future shows will also be airing on our new channel. We have a new channel, and it's called Chillin' with the Juice.
All right, now.
Yes, girl. See, because I had to catch up with what YouTube is doing. Right. YouTube sees each channel as one particular topic. And so that's why your videos don't garner a lot of attention when you do a different topic than what YouTube is used to.
So almost like casting in a way.
Right. So I'll put all that information in the link in the description. We'll share that information. But tonight, y'all get to watch it here live. We got the beautiful team here. We got Diva from Chronicles of Gray Hair Diva. Shout out to my girl Diva. Thank you for being in the house. I need that applause thing. We got my girl Erin from Smiling with Erin D, also the Juice Radio moderator. What up, Erin? And we got my girl Kim Delivers from Kim Delivers. And she's going to deliver it tonight, y'all. She's going to deliver it. Now, we do have Couture Bay was on panel. She has something, unfortunately, she had to take care of, so she can't make this one, but she will be on the future shows. And Naughty Love Movement will be in here shortly. So, ladies. When I reached out to you all and said, I want to do a show on dating, and I said, the title is going to be, Does Size Matter? What were your thoughts? Diva, what was your thought?
You know what? I was open-minded to it because depending upon, I guess, the age bracket you're in, different things matter to you as you are dating. And it's a good thing that you're having this show because, you know, they're going to get to hear perspectives from all of us. So my mind didn't automatically go left, right? Didn't go the raunchy route when does size matter? I thought about it as a broad topic overall. You know, some people, they have their dead set rules when it comes to dating. Like, I want somebody that's 6 feet tall or whatever. I want somebody that has a size bank account, or, I want somebody that has a nice, package, figure that one out. But listen, as I've gotten older, my perspective on a lot of things has most certainly changed. So I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation with everybody.
I love that. And listen, it's an interesting topic. I actually was having a conversation with my son, and he was like, Mom, this dating life out here is really different and stuff and so forth. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation on panel, because I'm like, okay, he's 27. He's out here. He's in the business field. But his thing is people keep looking at his bank account when they're trying to date him. And he's like, I don't want them women. So he's like, now he's like trying to, go out and he's trying to be incognito. Like he'll borrow a friend's car, to go out because he's like, I don't want them to know what kind of car I drive, or either he'll take them to this, like low grade restaurant or something. So I'm like, why do you have to do that? He says, Mom, because I want to know, do they want me for me? They're always looking at my bank account. And I'm like, oh, and he's an entrepreneur, so a business and all that. So I said to him, I said, well, babe, does size really matter? And that's what I was like, bingo, let's have a conversation. Kim, let's come on down to you, girl. Does size matter when it comes to dating and relationships?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you, I hollered when I saw that thing. I said, wait a minute now. I know Regina ain't getting racy on here now, first of all. But no, when it hit me, I knew exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about a statue. You know what I mean? But yeah, it does, because when it says size basically is quantifying something, right? You know what I mean? And when you quantify things, that can also be synonymous with your boundaries, your requirements, and the standards that you have, because hopefully most of us was raised with standards and we need to stick with them, and as we get older, it changes. Like I thought about, now dating and stuff. And I was like, why was dating so much easier when I was younger? I didn't have all these problems. Then I remembered. Well, I have as many standards as I do now. Okay. Back then I didn't. I was young. You were young. You were trying to experience the world and everything it had to offer. So, so that's where I was with it.
I love it. Listen, Regina's in the chat here. Let me bring this comment back up where Regina said, Aaron. Regina said, what type of size are you talking about? And what does the Bible say? Now, see, this is why I had to create another channel. This is why I had to create another channel, because I knew all my church folks were going to be like, what you talking about over here? So the future shows will be on our other channel. We have another channel, you guys. Make sure that y'all subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comment section and also pin it to the top of the page. So this other channel that we have, this is what it's called here, Chilling with the Juice. All of our shows future that are dating are going to be on this channel. All you need to do is type in Chilling with the Juice. I'll put the link in the description, because I have to do it that way, you guys, because over here, the Juice Radio and Talk Show, it's all my church people, and they get a little confused. All right. But I love that Kim said that, standards are a little bit different back then and what you're looking for. But I want to have this conversation. Hey, Regina. Hey, Royer. Thank y'all for being here. Hey, Beautiful One Styles. Thank you for coming on in as well. Hey, Arlene. Thank you for being here. Arlene said dating was easy when we were younger. And she said, because we didn't know better, we had less boundaries. That's what Kim just said. Hey, Arlene, thank you for that. Hey, Ollie, thank you for coming on in. Aaron, let's ask you, Aaron. What's your thoughts when you saw this? Now, I know Aaron was like, Regina, what are you up to? Here you go. What's your thoughts, girl, when you saw the title?
I was like, did you mean to send this to me? That was my first thought. I was like, I don't think she meant to send this to me. This must be wrong.
Yeah.
That was what I thought. I'm going to be honest.
I love it. Aaron was probably like, okay, what are we doing? But you guys, let's be real. Does size matter? Size does matter. And it's an important topic, because there's a lot of people out here that are wanting to date, that are looking to date. And I said, let's have this conversation. So I want to have some fun here tonight as well. And let's chit chat. We really want to do these shows. Does size matter? And this is episode 1, our intro episode. We have following episodes coming up to help people. Now, I've been out here married we just celebrated 22 years on May 6th. Thank you. 22 years. But I also was out there before we were dating, and this is my 3rd and final marriage. So I know how that goes. And I could be open and honest. We're going to be open and honest with these shows, okay? Mm-hmm. And so when I was dating, like Kim said, back in the day, it was totally different. So now that I'm looking at people nowadays trying to date, I kind of feel bad. I'm like, man, y'all got it hard, because there's so much people that are not being truthful. There's so many social media sites where you look up and you're dating and you see this nice picture and you swipe left or right or which one it is. And then when you meet them, you're like, you look nothing like your picture, or your picture is like 18 years old, So it's like there's a lot of dishonesty and distrust out here in dating. So let's talk about some of these things. Diva, you're beautiful, gorgeous woman, intellectual, great career, doing well for yourself. Tell me, how is your dating life? What have you been seeing? What are some obstacles that you have been probably coming up against, if any?
Well, I'm going to say this. I think to anybody, before you start dating, you got to know what you want, what you're looking for, and what you will accept and not accept, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to stand by that. Don't let so-called loneliness have you break down and move away from your standards, right? So, and we since we're still on the original Juice and Radio Talk Show, I'm gonna say this. God said you're never alone.
Mm.
So don't allow your physical someone not being there confuse your brain and say that you're just so lonely, because we're never alone. So I would say that to me, you should lay out your standards, write it down, see it with your own eyes so you can believe it and not falter from that. I will say this, I have still my standards, and I'm not going to sit here and lie. Money does matter, right? And it shouldn't be like I don't date because of your money, but money does matter, and how you handle your money matters, right? Because I'm not about to take care of nobody. No, I'm not. We're not doing that. So, and I got to know that if we get together and come into this thing, that, we are both kind of like on a level ground, a level playing field, so to speak. And listen, I'm not, filthy rich. I'm not dirt poor, but there will be a prenup. Because if something goes down, right, you ain't leaving with my townhouse. Like, we're not doing all that. I leave my townhouse, my pension, my 401k. I'm not doing that. So you do have to be smart when you're dating, and money has to be part of the conversation, because life is money. We got to keep it 100. We got to keep it real. And I need to know that you don't have, you're not in foreclosure. You don't have bankruptcies. You don't have this. You don't have that. And yes, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I got standards as to where we're going to go out and hang out. But no, I'm not going to beat you down for your cash, so to speak, because I'm grown, I'm mature. But you got to have a certain, be at a certain level and have certain type of funds if I'm going to deal with you, right? Because I noticed too, I have, I'll use this the best way I can. I'll say I have dated down. And it's dreadful in the sense that they can't handle it versus me not being able to handle it, right? Don't be asking me what I'm doing with my money, where I bought this, how I got that, this, that, and the other. Because as long as I never came to you talking about, can you help me with my mortgage, help me buy a shoe, a pocketbook, or a bag, don't spend my money for me, okay? Don't tell me how to spend my money. So I have dated people that, they wasn't on the same level. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it, but they did. They was in my business as to what I was spending and how I was spending it. And that right there, I'm not doing.
I'm so shocked because I've been out the dating world for a while now. So when you're telling me they asking you, why you spend this and how you getting this, that's what they doing nowadays, y'all.
They doing a lot
like that.
They doing a lot.
Erin shaking her head. Yes, Erin, that's what they do, and they asking you about your bank account.
Oh yeah, they want to know your business. They like all up in your business when you go on dates. Like, they want to know where you spend your money, how much you making, and I'd be like, I don't know you yet. Like, yeah, they want to know like everything about your finances now when you go on dates.
So they want to know, does your bank account size matter? And it does. Kim, you gorgeous out there now. Now you and I talk. Kim, gorgeous girl, gorgeous lady. She's a gorgeous lady. Very intellectual. I mean, and run businesses like none other. She is excellent at it. Great thoughts of herself. You ain't got to uplift Kim. Kim will uplift herself.
Boom.
She will. Tell me about your dating life, Kim. What's been going on?
First of all, let me tell you this. I believe I'm gonna piggyback off for one what Diva said, okay?
Yeah.
And she was like, you're never alone. That is true. But God also says, hey, you're gonna have life and you're gonna have it abundantly. And I know that He's a multifaceted God, okay? So you mean that in every area. So I'm looking at dating and everything with an open mind, because it was a time where I had closed myself off. And then, and then my talks and everything with God and everything, it was a couple things that He took me through. First of all, everything is about attraction. So I was telling God, I wish I could find me a decent man. And God, I need him to do this and I need him to do this. And I like this and I like that. And then God asked me, well, Kim.
What did He ask you, girl? What God said?
He said, are you that in which you seek?
Oh, well.
So then I had to realize that now, I had some work to do, because I'm going to tell you something. I am very self-aware, and I don't mind being self-aware because the easiest thing for me to fix is me, right? So, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to evolve. But then
Right.
not only that, I'm thinking it's about the law of attraction. You know what I mean? And at the
Yeah.
time, I wasn't as settled as I would have liked to been, and it was a lot going on in my life. My parents and all the rest of that stuff. I was like, can I bring anybody into this mess? Because I wouldn't want to be in nobody else's. You know what I mean? Because so I said, well, maybe that is true. So I'll work on me some more. I'll get this. Well, I had my parents and everything. Now that they transitioned and stuff, I've got a lot of free time. So I say all that to say that at one time before I started talking to the guy, and the reason why I started talking to him was I noticed that I had closed myself off. And then
Oh.
God was saying that, when I started working on myself, and I was like, when I got to that point, I felt like Spirit was telling me, now you got to open up. Because the thing about it is that you got to keep your eyes open because you don't know who I may send. And with you being so closed off, I can't put no blessings in your hand if you got a tight fist. Okay. So
Oh.
remember that. Now,
Mhm.
let's get to the practicality of dating all these people. These people coming out here with their representatives and all the rest of that. Now, a person want to talk about their money and stuff like that, or ask me about my stuff, I don't mind getting into the conversation, all right? Because I'm not gonna get deep in my stuff, all right? I'm in sales, I know how to evade the question if need be. But the bottom line is this: let's talk about it, okay? Because see, one thing I do is I keep stuff in my remembrance, okay? In my database, I catalog that stuff because one thing my mama always told me is that talk about numbers are important, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna catalog that and bookmark it because one thing we know is figures don't lie, but liars sure can't figure. Okay. So that's the first thing. All right. So then in talking about it and people sitting like this one guy was dating. So I just want to tell everybody, I went on Kendra G's show. I don't know if y'all know about Kendra G or you seen it, but she's got a dating show. She was a
Okay.
radio show host and all the rest of it. And it's on YouTube. She's gone wild. It's been wildly successful and she's just blown away with it now, right? So
Okay.
anyway, I went in there and met this guy and all the rest of that. And he had sent his representative because at first, he was an over-the-road truck driver, good-looking old country guy from Mississippi. I said, oh, a country guy from Mississippi, because I'm up here in Detroit. And these guys, they can, be thinking they slick and stuff like that. Maybe I get somebody slow. Oh, good. You know what I mean?
Wait, you calling the guys in Mississippi slow? Did you just call the guys in Mississippi slow?
I should have said slower than the people in Detroit. It's a lot of people are Detroit different. Okay. I'm just saying Detroit different. All right. Well, Detroit women different. And I think he found that out. But anyway, I say all that to say is that he sent his representative. All right. So first he started painting the picture of who he was. And then remember, I had all this stuff in my remembrance. So I remember
Wait,
different things.
so Kim, I got to interrupt you a second. Wait, you keep saying he sent his representative. What are we saying when you say that? Did he actually send someone? Or he
No,
lied about who he was?
representative. He wasn't presenting the real him, the authentic, the genuine. What it didn't mirror what he was presenting, did not mirror actually what he was experiencing in
So
life.
when he was
Okay?
talking to you, he was sending his representative and not his real self.
Mhm. But that's okay because, like I said, my mama said, "Figures don't lie, but lies sure do figure." And that means a whole lot of different. You can take that a whole lot of different ways, like we were saying, side. So when it came to it and everything, I basically had to let him know that, look, this isn't what you think it is. Because one, two, and then he wanted to have somebody cooking and doing all the rest of that stuff for him. And I told him, you asking for wife stuff, and I'm just a friend. You know what I mean? And I'm not even a girlfriend because we just started dating and all the rest of it. I cooked a meal. I don't even cook, okay? I eat food out because my work day can just go from whatever. But anyway, I say all that to say, all right, people send their representatives. So it was funny because now I've opened myself up, right? But in doing all this, my senses, because I'm highly spiritual, my senses were aware, and my understanding was aware of the different nuances with this.
Okay.
Okay. So that you can head yourself off before any trouble comes. So I guess what I'm trying to say is a delicate dance between being open and then guarding your feelings and remaining detached. Because a lot of times as women we want to leave with our feelings and stuff like that.
Okay, because
I was getting excited.
I want to hit on
getting
that.
excited. And I
want to hit on that. Hey, Nadine, I see you in here. Hey, Jack, thank you for being here. I want to hit on that real quick, Kim. Open, because I wrote that down. Is it difficult? And I'll come over to Aaron. Is it difficult for not only just women, and I know there's a panel of women, you guys, but we did invite some guys. They were busy. They're going to be on the next show, okay? So we're not partial here. but God will do what God will do. So I believe God wanted women on panel today. Okay. But Aaron and ladies, but I'm going to start with Aaron first. Is it difficult for people to really open up? And then what does open up really mean in dating nowadays? Because back in the day, it was, you would just, hey, how are you? I go to this school, you go to that school, so forth or whatever. I like this food, we like that food, we go to this church and so forth. It wasn't really much hidden back in the day. So what does being open up mean now?
Okay, so I can give the dating on dating a woman's perspective, and it's different than when I date a man. So when I go out with a woman, she's more like she has already Googled you. She knows every app you're on. She knows all her girlfriends know everything. I will say the same about my girlfriend. Girls who date girls, they know everything before you even go on that date. I'm just saying it's what it is.
Okay. Girls are more detectives.
Because it's the same as I'm guessing the heterosexual thing. So they know before you even step on that date. When you date a man, they don't really look into your past, so they more asking you stuff, it seems like. So I guess that would be my perspective. When you date them, it's more like they already know. They want to find out if you're going to lie.
Okay, so
saying, they want to know how much that they already learned that you're going to tell them the truth on. It's almost like an interview process, and they already got the handbook first, so they know the answers. They want to see if you're telling them.
Wow. So Diva, when you are dating, or what do you want a man to do when you are, let's say you just met somebody, and how does him opening up look like to you? I mean, because sometimes some of these guys say they're afraid to approach these women. What does really opening up mean when you're communicating with a guy? Because there's some guys out here watching, thank you, Holy Spirit, that are right now saying, I don't know how else to be to a woman except the way I've been, and it hasn't been working.
I think people need to be themselves. I think that's the problem with the world today, with all of this social media and people posting the perfect pictures, the perfect life, the perfect meal from dinner, the perfect cup of coffee at the perfect coffee shop, looking perfect. Everything is just perfect, right? So I think people feel like, we got to live in this bubble of being perfectionists, right? And I think if people just be themselves, the whole world would just be a better place, right? So I just feel like, just be yourself, and let our conversation be natural. It doesn't have to be, what's your favorite color? What's my favorite color? Where did you go to school? Let's have natural, organic conversation. And if this thing moves to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dates, then we get into just maybe getting to know each other more. But all to me, I like organic, right? So let's just go out and just talk, and whatever conversation comes up, comes up. Let's just have fun together. And that's, to me, how we're going to really get to know each other, right? Doesn't have to be these planned set of questions, and I got to know this right here, there. Because I found out, this year, to God be the glory, I turned 55. And what I found out in life is that, as I got older, if you just lay back and have this whole woosah moment and approach to life, things are going to go well and be great. So, as I'm dating, there's no pressure. It's like, we can go someplace you like this week, someplace I like next week, see if we have any mutual likes together, so to speak. And let's just have easy conversation that kind of flows, right? Because I think when people get comfortable with each other, the conversation is going to be greater and nicer anyway. So let's just see if we just like being in each other's presence. And if sometimes there's dead silence, there's dead silence. We don't have to try to fill that silence with anything. Let's just be. So just speaking of dating, it's so funny. Maybe it was 2 weekends ago, I went out on a date. We just went to this museum. We went to a great restaurant. And it was just a nice time, nice restaurant, good vibes, We walked a lot because we had to walk from like the museum to the restaurant or whatever. Passed by a flower shop, and I get this eucalyptus like flowers for my like stuff for my bathroom. I picked up some of that. It was just a great, easy time. Like I like easygoing people to begin with anyway, right? You know, the other week we was on your panel, whatever the week that was, and you know, Ray and I do a lot of stuff together. And even when he calls me, like I just smile. Like I call him my nephew, right? I just smile because it's just a great, easygoing person.
Yeah.
And that's the type of people I like in my life, and that's the type of people I want to engage with, even if at the end of the day, you and that person that you thought you was going to date become friends. Let it be that. Let's not put so much pressure on what this thing is going to be. Let it organically come into whatever it is supposed to be, whether we end up together or not.
Well, let's talk about that now, Kim. Let me ask you this, and Jack, I'm loving your comments, Jack.
Yeah, because Jack made another comment. I want you to bring up if you can. I screenshotted it. I'm trying to find out now.
Okay.
He asked us, and it was really good. He is asking us ladies a question, and what it was, I believe, was what did we do? Let me see if I can find it here. He said, where is Jack at? I didn't find it, but basically he said, what did we ask from the guy? Here you go. Jack Devaney, what were you asking from him though? That's
okay. Okay, so you want to answer that for Jack? Because I'm starring a lot of Jack's comments.
Yeah, because he's got some good comments in here now. One of the things that Diva said and everything kind of moves with what he said. I know he may have, I don't know if he was speaking in general or off of either my comment or Diva's comment. But nonetheless, is that I'm not asking for any, because see, I have requirements and I have boundaries, and everybody should have it, but I don't have expectations. Okay. I know what I'm looking for. I'm going to be 65 this year. So I think that anybody that I'm dating should have a certain level of maturation and integrity. Okay. And I try to, date within in my how can I say socioeconomic group. All right.
Has that been difficult? Has that been difficult?
No, it hasn't been difficult. You know what I mean? The only thing that's difficult is because I'm busy a lot. You know what I mean? And I don't get out to meet people. That's as much, And then I'm in Michigan, and in the winter, I ain't really trying to slip and slide going nowhere too much. But I'm just saying, and I just recently had the time anyway. So when my mom and dad had gone on, and now, all my time was dedicated to them. So now but I just want to take it easy. Okay. I'm like Diva. I like to have peace. Like this one guy said, I need a woman to be my peace. I said, well, I can't be your peace.
Oh.
And he was like, what you mean I can't be your peace? I said, because it's like this. I got my own peace. Okay. I'm at peace with myself. I said, I'm gonna need you to be at peace with yourself. I said, and then what happens is if I'm at peace with myself and you at peace with yourself, we come together and we peaceful. Or peace. Okay. Yes. That's how it goes. All right. I said, so I'm gonna need you to have your own peace, because you coming over here with chaos going all around on you. We can't do that over here because it's zen over here. Okay. So anyway, I just want to bounce off on that.
I think what you're saying, Kim, or what I hear you saying, and correct me, is that if they have too much going on in their life, they're not the fit for you. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Like just in a conversation, I couldn't understand why you got 2 kids and you don't have no relationship with them. Now I know things happen, you know what I mean? But I just got to be truthful. Yeah. I need a man that has a relationship with his kids and his family. That's important to me. My family is important to me. Okay. I've had guys who try to keep me, my ex-husband, he tried to keep me from my family. He wanted to be, under his thumb all the time. I love my family. It was funny when I was a little girl and young girl, teenager, my daddy don't like him. I don't care. Child, my family got to like you now. Okay. Cause I'm gonna be with my family and everything. And then and that's my, and that is like, the people who they know you and all the rest of that. And they can let you know if somebody ain't right or whatever, but it's those kind of things.
Well, let's talk about this. Let me go back over to here. Hold on. Listen. Okay, you got Jack talking to you, girl. You got Jack talking to you. Aaron, I'm gonna just occasionally. Aaron is in charge of these comments, you guys. I'm kind of stepping in her territory. But Jack says this. He says, I get what you're saying, Kim, but I find that a lot of women will dump on their man emotionally, but when it comes to his problems, they don't want to be dumped on with his issues.
Can I speak on that
Yes, you can.
real quick? First of all, I got a heart of a servant. Okay. That's what I have. You know what I mean? The other thing, as women, and not all women, but as women, we typically jump to fix stuff. Okay. And that's the person that I am too, because I want everybody to be good. And that's what I do in my life. And that's how I serve my community and everything else. So that's not me. So I have to pull myself back, though, to keep from fixing everything. Right. And you can share with me, all right, but I can share with him, but I'm not expecting him to do anything about it, because I've been fixing my life and I've gotten here. Okay. I haven't always been here, but I've gotten here by making sure I get mine together. You can bounce stuff off, but I don't have any expectations to down anybody because they have problems. Now, we can still be cool, but that means don't mean that we have to be together.
Now, let me say this. Let me piggyback on this, what you said right there. You said basically, like women, we fix stuff. So when a man talks to us, sometimes what us women tend to do is we try to go into the mode of, let me fix his problem. But when the man talks to us, we don't get them where they're not trying to fix our problem. We're just talking and they're not really doing it. But the woman tries to fix the issue a lot of times. Would you other ladies agree with that, Diva and Aaron? Like when the man tells you his problem or tell you his issues, do you automatically go into, let me see what I can do to fix it?
I haven't dated a man in a long time, so I'm gonna have to get this one to Diva.
I'll say this. I say that I think as adults, I have to speak from where I'm at now, right? And as an adult, I straight up tell a person, you gotta tell me what you want from me. You gotta tell me what you want from me. If you're telling me this story because you just want me to listen,
right?
Or listen. If you're telling me this story because you want me to give my input, I will give my input. But I'm not psychic. So you got to tell me what you want from me as I listen to whatever it is you have to tell me. You understand? So that's where I approach things now. I'll tell me whether it's one of my girlfriends or if it's a male friend or if it's someone I'm dating. As you begin to tell me this story and share with me, let me know where you want me to stand in this. Am I just a listener? Because I will be a good listener. Am I listening because you want me to give my input? Then I will listen from that perspective. But don't have me guessing, right? Because you can only get from me what you want from me if you tell me what you want. I tell people that all the time. If you don't tell me what you want from me, I'm going to give you what I think or what I'm used to giving, and you may walk away not satisfied. So when it comes to relationships, it's a give and take, but it is up to the person themselves to let the other person know what it is I want and what it is I am expecting. So I tell my girlfriends all the time, if you wanted me to show up and you really want me to be there, then say that. Don't come later talking about I was disappointed you didn't come and this and that.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. Don't do all that because we grown now. You invite me to something and you really want me to be there, say I really want you to be there, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll figure out, can I really get there or not? And I'm going to let you know up front. So I do that in my relationships. And I found that I have better relationships because they say communication is everything. Everybody loves that catchword, but they don't know how to communicate.
I think that's part of the problem with relationships too, especially the younger generation. Go ahead, Diva.
Yeah. So I upfront help my communication process with everybody in my life. If I'm listening and I don't know I say, listen, you got to run that by me again because I'm not catching it. Or if I straight up, I got to say, okay, what do you want from me in this situation? So that when it's all said and done, you told me what you wanted. I did what I could, and we can all move on with life. So nobody's walking away guessing like, did I want, should I, this, that, then the other. And I do that with people too. Like, this is what I want from you. This is what I'm expecting. can we figure this thing out? So I think that question, who had that question? Was it Robert?
That was Jack.
Jack.
So the thing is with Jack is that traditionally, like Regina, like you were saying, is like we do like to fix, we like to help because we're motherly by nature. Even if we didn't physically have our own kids, it just seems like a lot of us are just like that in general, right? So yes, and the thing is, 9 times out of 10, the brain is conditioned to think because you're telling somebody a story, the person is thinking, oh, they must want me to help, or they must want me to respond to it, or they must want me to give some input because they're telling me their story. Where that's when people, it's up to them to say, girl, like I tell people a lot of time when I call, I just got to release this. I ain't asking you to help. I ain't asking you to weigh it. I just got to get this out of me. So I'm telling you this story so I can get it out of me, and that's it.
Okay, so let me go right there. So to put in combination, to combine what Kim is saying and what you're saying is this: when you're dating someone, conversations matter, but also the person who you're conversating that conversation with matters. So the person that you're trying to date may not be the person that you want to dump all of your stories of problems and situations and all that. That may be a conversation that you need to have with a good friend, but not necessarily that person that you're dating.
No, that's not what she's saying.
Okay, go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry, Diva, and then I'm gonna come down to Aaron and then Kim. Go ahead, Diva.
No, I'm not saying that. I feel like the person I'm dating, this is just me personally, we should be able to share everything with each other.
Is that on the first? That's after you've been dating for a while.
Dating. Now, I'm not
a while, yeah.
First date, yeah. But if me and you
are getting in trouble, girl.
No, if me and you are dating and we're really together, like you're probably the first person I'm going to tell the story to anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Before I tell any girlfriend or whatever, that's where that whole pillow talk and all that comes in at. So no. I feel like you should be able. My partner shouldn't feel like they should have to go to anybody to tell a story. They should be like, I can't tell you. And if I want to tell anybody else, they can too. But I should be their first safe place to tell whatever they need to tell to, with no judgment. And like I said, even when they tell me, I'm gonna be like, yo, do you want me? Because I had a friend, and this was just one of my friends. And he would tell me sorry. I was like, yo, you know what I would tell you to do, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, no, I ain't doing all that. I'm just telling you to be telling you. I was like, all right, but because I'm telling you, this is how I would handle X, Y, Z. So I feel like, you can really, when you are comfortable with the person you are dating, feel like magic happens from there. Right? If I feel like I can come and just talk to you and you are my no judgment zone and I am your no judgment zone, magic happens from there. But you can't be the one that's always spilling, and you never allow the other person to tell their side.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Can't be that. It got to be some even ground. And then there's sometimes where maybe your partner got to give you a little bit more. You got to listen more than what you can spit out at the time. And what I don't like either is if somebody's coming to you and they got a heavy heart, so to speak, and as soon as they finish their last sentence, you want to get out your stuff. Sometimes you got to hold on to your stuff in this moment because what they got going on needs a little bit more right now. And they didn't come to release so that you can release right after.
Okay. All right. Aaron, and then I'm going to get to Nadine's comment here because this is
it's the next, but I want to talk about Nadine, so I'm going to take this call.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron. What's your thought?
I thought the most important thing that I learned from listening to Diva, which I totally agree with, is you got to put boundaries too when you're talking. Is hey, this is what I need from you. Now let me share. That way they know how to respond. And I find like men don't, a lot of my guy friends, when they're talking about their girls, they don't know. I was like, well, did you ask them what they're looking for? Like, they didn't know to tell you either. So you got to communicate both ways. I think women as a gender, we want to fix problems. So if we don't know we're supposed to just relax and just listen, we're going to jump in. And that's all women that I've met. So we all want to act. And so we got to stop and be like, hey, I don't want you to act. I don't need advice. I need to vent. Or, hey, I want your advice. Tell me what I should have done because I don't know.
Listen, I'm already thinking of one of these episodes is going to be does family problem or personal problems matter? Does the size of the personal problems matter? Well, Nadine has this comment up here. She put most men don't understand how to communicate. I'm sorry, she said most men don't understand how to communicate. We women need to be nice, kind, and meek. We are too harsh.
Mm.
Wow. So the men don't know how to communicate, Nadine, and women need to be nice, kind, and meek. We are too harsh. Some women can be. Kim, go ahead. You were going to chime in?
Well, I'm going to take it. I think that both of those comments, and I want to go. I think his name was Jack, was it? I'm not sure. Yeah, Jack. And this comment, but he had said that when you dump on people, he says well, men don't, women can dump, or the word dump is what I took from that.
Mhm.
And then this comment right here. So first of all, I think that we all need to reframe how we talk about things, and because there's power in words. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you got to unburden yourself, you just like Diva was talking about pillow talk. Sometimes your mate got to unburden themselves. Okay, it's not dumping, it's unburdening themselves. Now, as it relates to we women need to be kind, nice, kind, and meek. First of all, I ain't never really been meek. I wasn't born like that. So I think that God made me, and all I know is God made me once, and I don't need nobody make me over. Okay, that's the first thing.
You better holler.
Okay, so that's the first thing. That's who I am. If he can't take it, then he can't take it. Okay. I'm a single mother. I raised a kid who's in the quantum physics. It ain't been easy. Okay. I've done a lot on my own. I've been out here slaying these dragons by myself. And if people, and I need people to see me, and I want them to hear me, and I want them to know what I went through and what's got me. They want them to love me for me. I'm respectful. Just because I'm a strong, outgoing, forthright woman doesn't mean that I'm not kind and I'm not nice. I got a higher goal. And the other thing too is that I've worked on my vulnerability. Because people want to act like vulnerability is a weakness, but it's really a strength. Because if you open yourself up for experiences and you allow yourself to be vulnerable, meaning that you allow the real you and you don't you let the walls come down and you open up to the experience and see. That don't mean that you got to acquiesce to everything that's going down. That means that you open yourself up to it. And I don't think you guys made pretty much everybody the same way, because if we used to be meek, mild, and all the rest of that, but then we had to go out into the workforce to help our family and all the rest of that stuff. It's a lot that's been going on since the Industrial Revolution. Okay. I'm just saying, you know, so I get it what you're saying, Jack, but I'm just saying that, I just believe that even outside of that, Jack, we all need to reframe our words, because I think there's power in words, and I think that in the way that we communicate, and that's both for men and women. And like Diva was saying, communication is so important, because that's how we begin to learn one another. That's how you go from friends and elevate your relationship to a romantic one, if that's going to be the case. You know what I mean? Because you're getting to know one another, and you both are vulnerable enough to open up and feel like each other is your safe place. Okay. Because like I said, again, vulnerability is a strength. A lot of people think that it's a weakness, because I used to didn't be vulnerable. I'm like, he ain't gonna know this about me. I ain't gonna do this. No, I'm not doing all that anymore. You know, when some people say, well, I'm not gonna call him and let him call me twice, and then I'll call him once. No, if I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. Now, if you don't pick up that phone and you don't answer, on the rest of my feelings ain't getting hurt. I just got the signal. Okay. But I'm not doing all these things and everything.
You got the signal.
You know, so
what I'm learning from this whole conversation, I'm loving it too, and I'm loving y'all's comments. Y'all keep these comments coming. What I'm learning from this whole conversation is the age difference makes a difference.
Yeah.
So we're talking with women like, you know, Diva says she's, what'd you say, 55, Diva? 55?
55, double nickels.
and not afraid to say her age, because she does not look 55. You know, and here I am. I'm 58. Kim says she's 60. I believe you said, Kim, right? 64. Come on, 64. And Erin didn't put her age out there unless she wants
40.
to. And 40. She's 40. So there's a difference with a certain age bracket, because there's a different maturity level. So does size matter when it comes to a certain age bracket? It may not be in certain areas that it matters. And what I'm hearing on tonight's panel is communication is a big size. Communication is a huge size that matters in this whole topic. But let me get over here to some of these comments. Now, I do want to say this. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I do want to say this. When we were talking about communicating and we're talking about the men dumping what they're going through in life and everything. Quick short story about my husband and I. When we met, we actually met in church. Like duh, I'm a church girl, but he was going through actually he was going through a divorce, and he was having a really hard time with this situation because the whole family went to the same church and they were not treating him very nicely. And he still kept coming back to church because he loved the church, even though he knew him coming to church, he was going to get this harshness out. It was my family church, and I had been away for a while, and I came back to visit after I'm going through a divorce. At the same time he was going through a divorce. We didn't know each other. And I saw him one night. The pastor called for the whole congregation to come to the front and pray. And I could not go up because I had my two babies, and they both had fell asleep on my lap because it was one of them late night services. And my both babies had fell asleep on my lap. So I watched everybody go up to the front, and my husband was pacing the floor back and forth, looking like he was about to kill somebody in that church. And I was like, I'm watching him, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? They're all up there praying. So after church, I asked my mom, I said, who was that guy up there? He was pacing like he wanted to kill one of the deacons. And my mom said, that's because he probably did. He probably did want to kill him. And I was like, why? And she said they were going through, they're going through a divorce, and he's the father of the girl. And they told him at one point they, cared about him, then they, and so forth. And then when they start going through divorce, the whole family just turned on him. So I said, oh my goodness, poor guy. So my mom's like, I think maybe you should talk to him. And I was like, why me? He about to kill somebody. I don't want to talk to him. And my mom's like, because you guys have a lot in common. You're going through something. He's going through something. I think he needs a friend. And I was like, I got two kids I'm trying to handle. I'm trying to go through my own divorce. I don't want to communicate with somebody who's going through more stuff than I'm going through. I just came to church to hear the word. I ain't come to church to do all this. So my mom is a pusher. Well, she's in heaven. She's probably around there pushing Jesus around, making some bread. She said, Regina, she said, he does not have a friend at the church. He needs somebody that knows what he's going through. And she told me this. She says, you know how difficult it is for people to talk about divorce in church. And she was absolutely right. And so at my mother's advice, what I did was I said, okay, I'll give the guy my number and we'll talk. I said, but that's it. I'm going to just try and help him through his divorce and help him not kill somebody and so forth. But that's it. So I went 2 Sundays after, and I handed him a card, and I say, hey, my mom told me about what you're going through. I just wanted to let you know that if you need somebody to talk to, I understand because I'm dealing with the situation myself. So if you need somebody to talk to, here's my card. And he lit up with the biggest smile on his face. And it was so big. And I had to tell him, I said, look, boy, this ain't nothing but just me talking to you because my mama told me to. That's exactly what I told him. I said, this ain't nothing but me talking to you because my mama, you just take that grin off your face. This ain't nothing more than that. And he was like, okay. And long story short, we ended up, getting married, because the friendship turned into us really wanting to get to know each other more on an intimate level and a bonding level, because it started out with him having a conversation with me about his troubles, me telling him about my troubles. So we both opened up with our real life situations at the moment. And from that, we were able to understand and know, hey, maybe we do want to have more than just this friendship. Maybe we do want to have more. So I said all that to say this. Sometimes you can open up with your real situation at that real moment in life, and it could be the determining factor of you building a life together.
Let me say this though, what your mother did was really good, because even though the divorce is on the rise and everything, it was a time, and it still kind of is. People feel like a pariah when you get divorced.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel like, because people be judging you. You ain't married no more, or you ain't married no more, or something. You know what I mean? But you can feel like a pariah, especially in church. And that's what I was gonna say. And then there's people in there too. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah. And God did that. That was God.
Absolutely, because I tell you, I was like, I am not going to be dating nobody. I'm going to raise my kids, and I'm just going to be this old lady with my kids. But God saw different. But I said all that to say this: sometimes sitting down, listening to someone's story, even if you have to be pushed to have a conversation with them, because my mom pushed me to have a conversation, and she wasn't trying to get me to date him. That wasn't her goal. Her goal was, I see this man come to church every Sunday, and he's miserable. but he still pushes through and he still comes to church. And she said he's hurt. And everybody in the church, she says, they can't do what he needs to get done. And Regina, you're probably the one person that can do it because you're dealing with it. Nobody in the church was dealing with divorce, or they weren't telling anybody. And so sometimes somebody having that open conversation can lead to a good, relationship. And like Diva said, it may not turn out to be a relationship. Maybe it is going to be a friendship. But listen and have the conversation. But just like Diva said too, and Kim said too, I wasn't trying to fix his problem. I was just trying to listen to his problem. And I think that's what girls and ladies have to learn when you're out here having conversations with these men. You're not their mother. You're not their psychiatrist. You're not their doctor. Sometimes all they need is a friend. And that friendship can probably turn into more. That's just my thoughts on that. Let's go over here and see what y'all in the comments saying, because, size does matter. Size does matter. And for those of you that are here tonight, wonder if we're going to get into that particular point, just stay on the channel. Just listen. We're going to put the notification bell out. Episode 1, this is the intro. We're going to be talking about bank accounts. Does bank account matter? We're going to talk about.
We need to break down the sizes.
We're going to talk about the sizes. We're going to talk about, the little size. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about family matters, the size of the family. We're going to talk about, life goals. We're going to talk about all of that. All right. Today is our intro. So y'all stay with us. Now let's take some of these comments up here. Jack said this. He said, absolutely, size matters. He said, I've been fat my whole life. Sometimes fatter, sometimes less fat. And I can tell you that when I'm less fat, I got more of a chance. We are going to be talking about this also as far as weight, because us women deal with this a lot. Y'all see, I keep pulling my shirt down because I don't like how these stripes are going. They're going the wrong way. Let's talk about what Jack is saying real quick. Diva, does size matter when it comes to the body for you? I know we can't speak for everybody. For you, Diva, what's your thoughts on it? When people say, my weight, Jack said when he was fatter, he had less people, less women after him as when he was thin. Talk about it, Diva.
I think it's a mindset. I think that, I have been listening to, I do a lot of meditation. I've been listening to this Mind Valley app, and everything is, they said a man is what he thinks. So if you think because of your physical appearance that no one is going to want you, then that's what you're going to attract, that nobody wants you, and you're thinking it's because of what you see. If you don't love yourself, then nobody is going to love you. Personally, when it comes to relationships, when I dated throughout my lifetime, all the different people I dated, how some people say, oh, people have a type because everybody they date kind of looks alike. Everybody I dated was different. I've always been attracted to who the person is themselves versus what I physically see, right? Because what you physically see, even if you stay with the person forever, can change.
Oh, come on.
Going to change, and is your love going to change because what you physically see now and that person you chose changed? I like what I feel and get from the inside of the person. So I think that all of us ourselves, I think, I always tell people when I can, love yourself. And love what you see right now. Not the size you want to be, not the size you're trying to manifest in your head, not when you're going to be a size 2 versus whatever size you are now. Love you now. Say often, look in the mirror with no clothes on. Fall in love with yourself the way you are right now.
That's deep.
No mistakes, right? And that's not to say that if you want to get smaller, if you want to look different, that you shouldn't work towards that. But are you going to be miserable until you get towards that? You got to love what you see in that mirror today, right now. So, Jack, I do believe that, that experience happened for you. But I think it is more because of in your mind, you thought when you were smaller, you got more, to you. So me personally, when I'm dating, your looks don't matter. Now let's be clear. I'm attracted to you, but I'm not going to get distracted from you because maybe you 250 pounds versus 150. So that's not like, if you come and talk to me, no matter who you are and what you look like, if I'm vibing and feeling what's coming out your mouth,
Ooh.
all of this is going to look different to me anyway. I have seen the most beautiful people, and to me, they're ugly when they open their mouth.
Ooh.
I have seen some people that wasn't that attracted to whoever the powers that be call attractive, and I was in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what's wild?
What?
I dated some people where, you know, people wasn't necessarily as attracted to them as somebody else, but all of a sudden it seems like when you get with somebody, when somebody's with somebody, that's an attraction for some other people too. That's a crazy thing that we have to bring up in one of these episodes too.
Let's do that.
These people that are attracted to other people's people.
Ooh.
We'll get to that in one of these episodes, because that's a whole nother hot mess too. But the best thing, if I could, you know, say in this first episode here is, I'd rather have somebody that loves themselves, because then I know that they're going to have the ability to love me. If you don't love yourself, you're going to nitpick on yourself, and you're probably going to nitpick on me too. I ain't beat for all that. Love yourself. And listen, I love me. And I don't love me tomorrow when I'm going to be a size 2. I got rolls in the stomach. I'm not the size I used to be, but you know what though? I love me.
Come on now.
And you gorgeous.
Thank you, Erin. It's on you. And listen, and let's be clear. Don't come in my life and try to change me. This, you see, what you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. Y'all know this.
I'm trying to change this right here because I'm not doing that.
What you get
At all.
At all. Come on now.
What you see. I don't know if the young folks know that one. Is what you get. Come on, y'all know if y'all know that one. Thank you for that. Let's go over here to this next one here. Candy Cole said this. She said, and I want them to love the Lord, but not a pastor or minister, just a lab lay member. Kim, I'm gonna bring this one over here to you. Since we were talking about church, and I'm gonna bring the next one up for Aaron. So she's talking about church love. Does size matter when it comes to his faith? We're gonna be talking about that also. But since Candy Cole put this comment in here, Kim, she said, and I want to love and I want them to love the Lord, but not a pastor or a minister, just a lay member. What do you think about when it comes to faith, Kim, and out here in dating life? What do you think about?
Well, you know, I'm open to all kind of races, okay, and cultures, okay. So I believe that you got to believe in something, though, okay. And I'm not that person that, you know, I've read about other religions, and we all have a common thread, and one of the common threads is love, okay. So I say all that to say that you got to believe in something, though. You know what I mean? And a lot of these different religions are not much different from one another. You know, now how they play them out and all the rest of that, and what they may call their God may be different. But I don't see that's a problem, because we all speak different languages. You know what I mean? So where is that a problem? But I do believe you have to love the Lord. Now, I do want to say something that Diva has said, because she talks about meditating. So do I. I try to make sure that I raise my vibrations high. And when I just want to talk about when Jack had said about being overweight, I love myself. And when the person doesn't love me or has a problem with my shape, and I'm just like Diva, you know, you can't line up anybody I dated with and see a pattern. I've dated somebody shorter than me, and I'm 5'2". I could have licked salt off his head, okay? And then, you know, and I don't dated somebody with a dad bod, you know, his belly looked like a playground, all right? That's okay. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. So, but what I think about people like that, so then that means that you're just only into the aesthetic. So what happened, God forbid, if I ever got into an accident, I lost a limb, and I wasn't whole anymore, so you leave me then. Because if a couple of pounds is going to mess with you, then, you know, you're only into the aesthetics. So if something happened to me, and you never know what may happen in life, you know what I mean? Then you would look me for that. But yeah, so I want them to be spiritual and love God. And I know what you mean, not a passing minute. Now, see, they can't be too church because, you know, I like to have a little drink every so often and all.
Come on, Kim. Come on. Raise your glass, girl.
Yeah, you know, that's it for me.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Aaron. Let's talk about this, and we will be having that topic on here on Does Size Matter on one of these episodes coming up about faith, because I know a lot of y'all Christian people and church people always want to put that, do not be unequally yoked. I know y'all be going over there to the book of Corinthians, talking about that unequally yoked. Well, we're going to talk about that, all right? So, Aaron, Toddette Daniel said this, counting other people's pockets when it comes to this money thing. They be counting other people's pockets. Do you think that does the wallet size matter when it comes to relationships? Now, let's talk from your experience and just tell us your thoughts on this.
No, but I'm confident in what I make, so I guess maybe for me it doesn't. So I can hold my own. So I do think that some people that can't hold their own, it becomes very stressful if you're with somebody who can and they're confident in what they're doing and they're budget conscious. Like, I go to clearance tracks. I don't lie about that. I like the clearance tracks because I like a budget, and I ain't paying full price for something I can get for in a month like half that price. I just don't waste my money there, and that's why I have money, because I don't waste it. You got to know how to, because it's not how much you have in your wallet, it's how you spend it and how you save it. So I think for me, I don't want somebody that overspends and wants luxurious things. So I guess maybe it does matter in that sense, because you want somebody who, if they're not your equal, they're willing to learn how to budget and save and be where you think you should be. Because like, you don't want somebody that's going to put you in debt either. So I guess I'm not going to lie. I want somebody who's going to put me in debt. I don't like the red.
Listen, I love this. This conversation is going to be good when we have this financial part. Does finance size, does that size matter? When we talk about finance and dating, that's going to be a great topic, because Toddette, I want to say this. When I met my husband, when, at church, when he was mad at the man, everything he had on was a label. Everything. When we went on our first date, he had a shirt on. I never forget the outfit. The shirt said Tommy Hilfiger. The pants said Tommy Hilfiger. The shoes were Tommy Hilfiger. The socks were Tommy Hilfiger. And he made a mistake. He bent over to pick up something and his underwear showed, and those said Tommy Hilfiger. Honey, when I saw that, I'm like, Aaron, I'm sales rack all day long. I love a good sale, and I don't care who names is on what. And we had a conversation about that when we were dating. He would always come over and everything was matched. And I ain't even want to talk about the jewelry. The y'all don't know. But anyway, listen, I had a conversation with him and I was like, why are you wearing all this? That's what was the first question I asked him. Why are you wearing all this? And he said, oh, because I like it. And, and this was what my ex-wife taught me how to do and all that stuff. I said, she taught you how to be broke? What she taught you? What? I said, what? You didn't know? Because, it's nice when you match all your stuff. And I had to tell him, I said, listen, I just want you to know, just so you know, I don't need that. I had to let him know, I don't need that. I said, so you can come over here. You can wear whatever you want. You're free to wear whatever you want. You don't have to put all that effort into it. I said, you could dress down. I'm fine with it. I'm not a label person, and I still appreciate and like you. Labels don't make me like you more. I had to let him know that, because his thing was, he was with a woman who built him up to think that labels matter. And so much so that when the man bent over his underwear with Tommy Hilfiger too, I never forget. Especially when I took him over there to Marshalls and Steinmart, I think it was Steinmart. And I showed him, you can get this stuff on the sales rack. And it's still the real stuff. But I think it's important for us to have those conversations and have these conversations. And I want to get some of the younger people to come up as well. So we'll be doing panels with some young kids. I'm trying to get some of these teenagers to come on and do some panel shows with us as well, because I think it does matter. The conversations we have, does size matter in certain areas of your lives? We didn't get to the sexual part yet. We'll discuss that, but we got to first get to the dating part, where we can at least get to that part. But we are going to be having those conversations. And ladies, I appreciate all of you guys, all of you who are in the comment section. Appreciate all of y'all for coming in. These are important conversations. This is a very important conversation, because a lot of people are out here searching and looking for love. And we have to ask, are they finding the love that they're looking for? And if it is, do they even know what it is they're looking for? Are they looking for a size? Are they limiting what they can get from that person because they're looking at a certain element from that person. So we're going to have these conversations. Diva, I appreciate you so very much for coming on. Diva will be joining us if she's listen, if she ain't booked and busy.
I'm never too busy for y'all. Never.
I love it. Y'all check out my girl Diva channels. Aaron has it on the screen here. Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If you haven't subscribed, she's on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe, like, and share. She's got great content over there. Beautiful, beautiful person, wonderful person. She's one of the ones that started with me when I was out here starting, and I'd go in there and just chit chat in her chat. Always pleasant, always very respectful to her viewers and people that come up on her panel. Diva is somebody that you want in your algorithm. Okay. You want Diva in your algorithm. All right. So y'all check out her channel. Thank you so very much. She's my friend. She's my support. I've called her at some of the wee nights and said, Diva girl, this is what happened online right now. I need some help. Diva girl, what I do with this?
Ooh, what's going on?
And she has given me some sound wisdom advice, and I appreciate it. Aaron is my girl. Listen, Aaron is our head moderator over here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. All of our other co-moderators are in the chats there. Robert Jennings is there as well. I always tell him that he's Aaron's assistant. He's also great over there in the moderator section there. Aaron has her own channel as well, Smiling with Aaron D on YouTube. Y'all see in the background, everything Disney, everything cartoons. And listen, she got valuable information over there. Y'all check her out. Her channel is kid-friendly. For all of you that have kids, it's a kid-friendly channel. So make sure y'all have them to check that out as well. If you want a nice platform where your kids, if they're online, because they all got tablets at the age of 2, they got tablets. So
child at birth, 0 months.
Coming out with a tablet. What come out first, the tablet or the kid? Y'all check out Aaron's channel, Smiling with Aaron D. She does great videos over there. Kim had to run. She's got family in there. And that was Kim's real living room, her back screen. That was not a screen. That's her real living room. Beautiful. She has her own YouTube channel, Kim Delivers. She's giving great financial advice and other great commentary. Check out my girl Kim Delivers channel on YouTube as well. And we have some other panelists that will be joining us as well. Now, remember, you guys, these videos, I'm going to have to pray on this tonight, Dee, because we had a nice crowd in here tonight. But I really do want to separate the two. So they may not be running on the Juice Radio and Talk Show, but they may be on our other channel that we put up, and that's called Chilling with the Juice. Okay, all you do is type in on YouTube, Chilling with the Juice. I put the link over here. I'll pin it on this one as well. So if you have not subscribed to that channel, make sure y'all subscribe today, because we're going to be running this over there, because we're going to have to get down and dirty after we get these videos, going. And I don't want my church folks, my mothers, because they be in the comments, y'all. They be in the comments, and they sometimes email me and say, Regina, I saw that video you did, and I just want to say, and I'm like, but mother so-and-so, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get all the information out there, and I'm sorry if I don't mean to offend you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be running these on Chilling with the Juice. All right. Thank y'all so very much for being here. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Thank you all for being in the comments. Jack, I appreciate all your comments, Jack. Appreciate all your comments. Y'all are amazing. Now, remember, you guys, be loving, kind to one another, and share this video, because we're going to start having these real conversations. I want everybody to find love. And sometimes we block love that we can't find because we're looking at the size of the matter instead of what really matters.
Woo!
So we're going to be having that conversation here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. It's about time that you find your real love, your true love, and make sure that what really matters is, are they a good person? Are they a good future? What do they bring to the table? And then compare it, like Kim said, what you bring it. All right. So we're going to have those conversations. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, safe evening. Be loving and kind to one another. Let me just do a quick prayer. I know you all know on the Juice Radio Talk Show, for all my church people that's watching, let me go ahead and pray. They're going to be like, oh, you don't got two